And we are rolling on July 14th at UCLA, where it's another beautiful day. Sunshine is shining. And we're about to hear about a film speech that really moved Chelsea. And Chelsea stands before us managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, saying to herself, I respect my audience, and she really means it. And she looks around to find friendly eyes near the front and the center. She's smiling to be friendly. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea.
Hi Chelsea.
So, life is like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get. I'm sure many of you guys are very familiar with this famous quote from a movie called Forrest Gump. I personally think that this quote really relates to my life because, for example, 1 month ago I was in Australia and a month later now I'm here studying at UCLA. So sometimes you never really know when certain opportunities arise and new windows in your life open up. So this film really moved me in 3 ways. So it made me laugh, it made me cry, and it made me feel nostalgic. So a movie reviewer from the Rolling Stone said that Forrest Gump is a movie heartbreaker of oddball wit and styling grace. I really have to say that I agree with this quote from the movie review because it's an amazing film. It deals with a lot of ups and downs, but in the end it really moves. So the first way that this film moved me was that it made me laugh. One of the incidents in the film is when, at the start, when Forrest is being bullied by 3 bullies in his class, and they start chasing him, and they're bullying him because he has these really noticeable leg braces, and they start chasing him, and so he runs away, while his best friend Jenny yells out, "Run, Forrest, run." So he keeps running, and the reason why this... Oh, and because while he was running, the leg braces actually fell off and he realised that he loved to run. So it was a really happy moment. This incident made me laugh because there was a time in my life when I was in primary school and I was running on a wet field and I was running too fast and I actually slipped and fell. I don't really know why this made me laugh, but I'm the kind of person that always laughs at myself over really silly things. So that part of the film just reminded me of that time in my life.
Great.
The second part of the film that reminded me of something was when it made me cry. So there is a part of the film where Bubba and Forrest, they're both best friends and they're in the army, and there's a scene where Bubba actually gets shot in the field and Forrest has to deal with Bubba dying in his arms, and it's a really sad moment. So this part of the film reminded me of 2 years ago when my grandfather passed away in hospital, and it was really sad and heartbreaking to see and feel someone that you love die right before you. So that part of the film made me really sad. The third incident in the film was that it made me feel nostalgic. So throughout the whole of the movie, Forrest has his best friend Jenny. So they met when they were children and their friendship lasts throughout their entire lives all the way till adulthood. So even though they have lots of ups and downs where different parts of their life went in different ways, in the end Jenny was always there for Forrest. So this reminded me of my childhood best friend. So I've been friends with this girl since I was about 8 years old, and we've always been best friends since about university when we started going in separate ways. But at the very end, I know that she's always there for me. So that part of the film really moved me because it just reminded me of that part of my life. In summary, there should be no doubt in this room that this film really moved me in 3 ways. It made me laugh, it made me cry, and it made me feel nostalgic. So, as the film reviewer said, as in the quote, life is like a box of chocolates, you never really know what you're going to get. I actually think this can be applied to everyone because as I said in life, you never really know when opportunities arise and certain windows might open. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let's start in the front today.
I'm Sydney.
Hi, Sydney.
I feel like your speech was very good, like you practiced it, and I really like the story that you told.
Thank you, Sydney. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Kennedy.
Hi, Kennedy.
I thought that you gave a good speech. It was really fluent, but you stayed kind of monotone. You didn't really like change your tone.
Right. Let's start with that. We want to see, it's just more interesting, Chelsea, to listen to somebody that has vocal variety. It's not just one tone all the way through, because that puts people to sleep, see? So you want to work on that and work on being louder, softer, faster, slower. So it's interesting to listen to out there, see? Overall, you knew the speech. You did it without notes. Excellent. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you will see that you have a very unkind habit of saying sorry a lot as a transitional device, apologizing. I like to see you not say sorry anymore, okay? It's a nice, respectful thing to say, of course, but you don't need to say it so much. It seems like you're making a lot of errors. Well, you started with a quote. Thank you. Life is like a box of chocolates. You tied back to it. It's probably the best known quote from a movie in the world, so we all knew what was coming, and you related it to being in Australia and then being here, so new opportunities popped up. Your thesis preview was good. Your review, which you agreed with, thank you, was good. On the first way laugh, I thought in many ways it was your best one. I felt you felt sensing, really remembering the incident back there wherever it was when you fell down, and how giggly and funny you were over it, and how funny it was running and slipping on a wet grass or something. So I thought I really got the emotion there. So that was excellent. On your grandfather, you portrayed sadness nicely. I've been saying this to all the students, but I will say it to you again. Remember to return to the emotion that you're communicating, so there's no doubt in the room what emotion you're felt sensing. So you say, and so when my grandfather died, that's why I felt so sad. But besides feeling sad, the third way of the film movie made me feel nostalgic. Emphasizing nostalgic, let it stand out. So you can do that with your voice, see, and it will be more effective. Here you reminisced about your best friend and how you went through up and downs with her, and you can always count on her like in the movie. I'm not sure I want a friend like Jenny, but maybe you saw her differently. But same thing, return to the emotion, and that's why I felt nostalgic, see, in the end of the section. You skipped the conclusion. You had a nice summary. Remember to say, in conclusion, there should be no doubt in this room, the movie Forrest Gump really moved me. And then you go back to your tie back. When you walk and talk. Okay? Let's look at you have Kanai's here somewhere? Or you have your 3 goals here?
Oh, no. So, that one. Sorry.
No goals. Always have goals, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you did a nice job, Chelsea. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to John F. Kennedy. Okay. Hi, how you doing? Out of your reach. Okay, good. Out of your reach. All right. Give me a moment to staple your paper. Okay? Take one step forward away from the wall so you seem a little friendlier. A step this way so you're centered to my camera and to the back of the projector. Back of the proscenium, I meant. Okay. Ooh. There we go. And I have your outline. Let me reset the clock. Okay. Kennedy stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front of the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, my name is Kennedy.
Hi, Kennedy.
I would like to start off with a quote from a movie that I would like to say is very dear to my heart. What is someone to do when they don't want to go down the wrong path, but there's a lock on the right door? When they have a heart of a soldier, but no one has taught them what to fight for? This is a quote from one of my favorite movies titled Paid in Full. According to Stephen Holden of New York Times, Paid in Full is an unpretentious, sociologically huge slice of life. I would like to agree with this quote because this movie tells the real feelings and emotions of people who lived in the late 1980s in Harlem. This movie starts off with a young man named Ace who lives in Harlem in the late 1980s who quit his job at a dry cleaner and began selling drugs. While I was watching this movie, I felt many emotions. I felt happiness, disappointment, and also a sense of strength. Now, when I first watched this movie, I felt happy because it was a specific scene that really related to my life. It was a scene where Ace had took his girlfriend out to get something to eat at just a regular fast food place. And in a joking manner, his girlfriend calls him boring. And then he pulls out a stack of cash and is like, oh, I bet I'm not so boring now. And then she looks at him, kind of laughs, and is like, well, I'm not impressed by that. So then he looks at her and he asks her, like, really confused, like, if I'm so boring, then why are you with me? And she says, I'm with you because I'm boring too, and then kisses him on the cheek. And I thought this was a really happy moment, and it also connected to my life when one of my best friends, she wrote me a birthday letter. And this happened to be the same summer that I was moving from Chicago to California. She told me how good of a friend I was, how I've been one of her most genuine friends, and how she would never take for granted the many things that I've taught her and the many things that I've done for her. And I thought that this was very special because to know that you have a genuine friend who loves you and really cares about you and doesn't, take the things that you have or the person that you are for granted was a really special moment for me, and it also kind of made me cry. Also, while I was watching this movie, I felt kind of disappointed. It was a character in this movie named Rico who killed a character named Mitch. And they were supposed to be friends, so this made me really confused. And it made me disappointed also. Because like in a movie or a TV series, when one of your favorite characters does something stupid or do something that you don't like, and then it kind of makes you disappointed in them because I really liked you. It's kind of sad. And this made me feel disappointed because it also related to a point in my life where somebody who I had known for a while, who I also thought was my genuine friend, had happened to lie to me a lot. They were very untrustworthy, and they would tell a lot of my business to other people. And it made me feel disappointed in them because I thought that we were good friends, and I thought that we had a genuine relationship that we would grow from, but they turned out not to be the person that I thought they were. And also, while I was watching this movie, I felt a sense of strength. Ace, in the end, he quit selling drugs to make a better life for him and his newborn daughter. And I thought that this was very strong because it must take a lot of strength to walk away from a lifestyle like that, making hundreds to $1,000s a day. And this also connected to a point in my life where I really wanted to go to a 4th of July get together with some of my friends. And it was going to be fireworks, it was going to be food, and it was going to be a lot of people there that I haven't seen in a while, so I really wanted to go. And usually in the neighborhood that I lived in, when people get together like that at big functions, there tends to be some type of fight or outbreak of some kind, and it's just a whole lot of chaos. And I really didn't want to put my life in danger, end up maybe getting lost with my friends and being on my own. So I decided to instead stay at home with my family, and I thought that was really strong of me because I really wanted to go. In conclusion, I would say that Paid in Full is a beautiful movie and that it taught me many lessons. Like the quote that I told you all in the beginning, it really sums up the movie and what a lot of people go through of making wrong decisions because they, haven't been taught right in their life, and they chase happiness the wrong way, and they chase money and success the wrong way. And there should be no doubt in this room that I was definitely moved by this movie. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. That was 431. 434, okay. Where are we? We're here. Yes, sir.
Your voice carried really well. You projected well. It's also very fluid. Like you practiced it a lot. You didn't break it all. And, your emotions came through very strong. I felt it in your stories. It was really good.
Improvement.
TJ.
Hi, TJ.
The only thing that you might need to do is slow down a little bit, maybe take a little bit out and just slow down. Just talk a little bit fast. I thought you did really well.
Okay. Those are good thoughts. Yeah, but you give me the outline. Put in the Roman numerals. That will help you and me. So you have all the parts of the speech going on there. You gave a quote about when you go down the wrong path and the doors lock and that sort of thing. And I wanted to see a more vivid tie back to when you go down the wrong path and the doors locked as a tie back. So I had a real feeling of coming the full circle. Okay, so that's the first thing. But I loved the quote. I loved how smoothly you got into the movie and the quote and stay in the power stance. And the preview that you did was all very smoothly done, very fluid. You had a tendency, the way you are now, to back up toward the wall, almost like you're afraid of the audience. So come a little bit forward, and don't be afraid to come out to your audience more and be closer to your audience, okay? On the first, I loved your first story from the movie about the guy pulling out a wad and saying, "Oh, I'm not boring." She said, "I'm not impressed with that." That's a funny story. And then you shared a letter you got from a friend when you were leaving Chicago that made you cry and really moved you. And we got that emotion. What I would have liked you to have done was to classify it as an emotion, because initially I thought you said you were going to say the first emotion was happy that you got the letter, but then you said it really made me cry, so we had a happy cry there going on. In the second paragraph about being disappointed, you talk about a friend that backstabbed and told lies about you, and we really got the feeling for that, but I didn't have you feel you returned to and that's why I felt disappointed. Return to the emotions you're re-feeling, felt sensing. On the final one, it was strong. He stopped selling drugs, and you were proud of yourself for not going out and putting yourself in danger, and I think that it was a wise decision, since you've learned from past experiences that these events often don't go well. So I admire you for doing that. When you watch yourself tonight, you're going to see that you got your conclusion down beautifully, but you skipped the summary. So you want to say, that's why I want you to have all the Roman numerals down, because then you won't forget any part of it. So you want to say, at the end of that. So in summary, I told you it made me happy, it made me sad, and it inspired me. Say, there should be no doubt in this room, and boom, like that. And then tie back to your introductory quote. You did a nice job. You have a very nice voice. You're very fluent. So keep that. Don't lose that. Let's look at your canais now. You said, speak more clearly. Look at the audience. Make no pause. Don't pause while speaking. In other words, don't have gaps while you're speaking. How to go?
Well, I think I did a good job of looking around the room and also speaking clearly, slowing down just a little bit, which I also still need to work on, and also, making it flow a lot more.
Yeah, if it did, it flowed better. You didn't really need some of the plot points, and that would have given you a little more time so you could have slowed down and had more time to work on your emotional parts of your speech. So you did a nice job, Kennedy. Thank you. Okay, are there any more film speeches to be done today that I skipped? Okay, come on down and do it. Hey, do me a favor, don't print things back to back in the future, okay? It's annoying. Is your name on this?
Yeah, it's on the first page.
Oh, the first page.
Yeah, the cover.
The cover page, which I threw away. Okay. Wang, huh?
Wong, yeah.
Wong.
Yeah.
Is that what you go by? You want to be called Wong?
Wong.
Wong, okay. What code were you?
Sorry?
What letter?
C.
You were C. How did I miss you?
It's on the second page.
Oh, next page. All right, good. Oh. Well, I have a lot of C's. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, Wong, stand before you, managing attention. Okay, they're talking, she's texting, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. She's not looking up. Start your speech.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm Wong.
Hi, Wong.
It takes a backbone to lead the life you want. This is a quote from the movie I choose, Revolutionary Road. It talks about how a middle-aged woman fight against a hopeless emptiness with all she has. This is a movie that really moved me in 3 ways. First, it makes me think, it makes me sad, and then it makes me ashamed of myself. From the quote from Backstage East, a review said that the story has a larger statement of the inherent oppressiveness of the middle-aged, middle-class Americana. I totally agree with the review. This is a movie that not only picture the life of a couple, but also reflect the struggle and the emotion of the couples. So I'll talk about the first way how this movie really moved me. It makes me think. In the start of the movie, the main character, April, told her husband that she wants her whole family to move to Paris and start a new life. Frank agrees. However, as the movie goes on and on, it becomes more and more apparent that Frank did not really want to move. So this reminds me of the often occasions when we reply positively to the people around us without much thinking, but then later we regret our decision. There was a time that when I was young, I told my dad, could you bring me to the capital city, Beijing? And he replied almost immediately, yes. However, his promise didn't come true until 6 years later. So such broken or delayed promise can really frustrate people. This is how this movie really made me reflect and think that we should always consider seriously before we reply to anybody. The second way that the film moved me is that it makes me feel sad. At the start of the movie, April and Frank fall for each other, and April told her husband that he's the most amazing, beautiful thing in the world. However, as the movie goes along, she eventually finds out her husband is not really the person she thought he was, and she grows to hate him. This really makes me sad because it can hurt so much to develop a relationship and then watch it fall into pieces. I still remember the time that I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, even though I'm the one who said that, because I really see that our relationship is going nowhere. So watching this movie, it really makes me sad. The third way that this movie moved me is that it makes me ashamed of myself. In the end of the movie, after figuring out her relationship with Frank, April chose to abort her child, and this eventually killed her. This makes me feel ashamed of myself because watching April put all her things in order to fight for her freedom makes me feel ashamed because I never fight hard enough for the things I want. I wanted to be a doctor, but then I didn't make it. In the past, I used to blame it to the education system and the admission criteria of Singapore education system But actually, the root cause is within myself. I never fight hard enough for my dream. So watching how April put all her things at stake in order to fulfill her dream really made me ashamed of myself. So in summary, this movie really makes me feel. Really makes me think, makes me feel sad, and makes me feel ashamed of myself. So in conclusion, there should be no doubt in this room that this is a movie that really moved me. And just as the beginning quote said, it takes a backbone to lead the life you want. This movie does not only tell us about the life of a couple, but also tell me how I should fight for my dream. Thank you.
Thank you. 4 minutes on the button. What'd you like? Hello? Wake up. What'd you like?
Hello, I'm Ezgi.
What's your name?
Ezgi.
Ezgi.
Yeah.
Hi, Ezgi.
I like your speech for New World Films. Yeah, I like it.
Fluent. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Cassie. I think you can make it a little shorter.
Yeah, this was, you did a good job, Wong. You started with the backbone quote. You tied back to it nicely. This was a very deep movie and a very depressing one. I've seen it twice, and the actors were excellent, but it's a very gripping movie, especially when she had the abortion. It was, really ugly. It was a sad moment. So, your thesis was fine, your sixth statement was good, your quote was good, and you agreed with us. You did all that well, and you got there in 43 seconds, so you really took care of your intro quickly. So, kudos for you on that. On the main body, you said that this was sort of a disappointment point, right? When your father didn't bring you to Beijing for 6 years, and that disappointed you. And I would have liked you to just have elaborated a little more on that and said, and that's why I felt disappointed, return to the emotion. On sad, the hate, you were really light on why you saw that you and your boyfriend were going nowhere and you had to dump him. But you could have said a little bit more and talked about your regret and how you felt ambivalent. Part of you loved him, but part of you knew that this wasn't right, and so it was a hard decision, and la-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what we wanted to be focusing on in this speech, is the emotion, communicating the emotion that the movie brought out in us, see? So more emotion. I would also say, just before I get to the next point, is more vocal variety, as I've said to the other students, more, louder, softer, faster, slower, just so you're more interesting to listen to. Unashamed. You wanted to go to med school, but you didn't make it. You blamed others. And then you finally grew up and said, I didn't work that hard, and took the blame yourself. I don't know why you're so ashamed, but I appreciate you being honest about that and maturing and saying, it's my fault. And so that was a good story you told about yourself, very disclosing, and I liked that. That could have been under a PC speech, really. Your summary, your conclusion, and your tie back were good, and you came back in time. You said, look in front instead of up, when I'm trying to gather my idea. Look at the audience. Speak slower and clearer was number 2, and have a more effective introduction. How did it go, Wong?
I think for the first point, I did work hard on it, but sometimes I still tend to look up. Yeah. Then
Okay.
For the second point is slower and clearer. Yes, I did it.
Uh-huh.
Then for the third point is a more effective introduction. Yeah, I did it because my first speech is a little bit long in introduction. So this one I'm shortening.
Right to the point. It takes backbone to lead the life you want to lead. That's really right to the point, yes. So that was clear, and you tied back to it. So thank you. Very good job. Thank you. Okay, let me go to my second page, which I have neglected. Is Jekylling.
James. Yeah.
James. Is James in the house?
Yeah, James.
Here. Hey, James. Great. Okay, James, let me get a little taller than the last speaker. So let me get you. Can you stand that way just a touch? Yeah. Okay. James stands before you, managing attention. Make sure no one's texting or talking. He's communicating respect non-verbally. He's finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm James.
Hi, James.
The world is not a wish-granting factory. This is a quote from the movie that I will introduce to you today, The Fault in Our Stars. I agreed to this quote, and I doubt that anyone else wouldn't agree to this quote. So, the world sure isn't a wish-granting factory, and I believe that things still happen even if we wish it wouldn't. So today I will introduce to you this film, The Fault in Our Stars, that really moved me. It made me feel in grief and to feel beloved by others, and it made me restful to the spirit. This film illustrates the friendship and love and the sympathy of the people who share illness and the people around them. The protagonist, Hazel Grace Lancaster, meets Isaac and Augustus in a cancer support community, and this story tells about their daily lives. They all know that on one day they will be gone, just like a grenade that doesn't know when it will explode. This film depicts their daily lives, and it really touched me, and I am sure it will touch yours too. So the first way this film made me feel was grief. First of all, the total atmosphere of this movie makes me feel sad because all the main characters are suffering from a fatal disease. I was so sad, and it reminded me of my grandmother's death, which was 12 years ago from now. I was so young back then, but I still knew that she loved me, and I loved her so much. And I couldn't bear the fact that she was gone, and she was no longer with me in this world. The second way this film made me feel was to be beloved by others and to love them. The protagonists suffer from their fatal disease and from the fact that they will be gone suddenly. However, they still love their lives and know how to they know the value of everything they do every day. This reminded me about my overall life, how much I am a blissful being, like having healthy body and mind, and a family that loves me, and friends that care for me. I also learned that everyone is fighting their own battles, and I do not know how much pain you guys have come through until now. So I respect your being, and I love you all. Third way this film made me feel was restful and peaceful to the spirit. In the end of the film, Hazel lies on the grass, reading the last letter her boyfriend Augustus had written before his death. She lies on the grass and fully feels the emotion, thinking of the sadness and memories with him, and the unpredictable future of hers. This also reminded me of my grandmother's death. But I learned that I should know how to admit my feelings and let it occupy me. And when I learned this, to let the emotion flow through me, it made myself peaceful. So in summary, I've told you how this film, The Fault in Our Stars, made me feel. It made me feel grief and to be beloved by others, and it made me peaceful. So there should be no doubt in this room that this film really moved me. The world is not a wish-granting factory. It hasn't been until now, and it won't still be in the future. But don't let yourself down for it. You should know, just as I said, how to let the emotion occupy yourself. And you should remember that pain comes to us for a reason, and it is worth to be felt. Thank you.
426, like.
I like your speech, the way how you tie.
Name.
I'm Wang.
Hi, Wang.
Yes, I like how you tie your own story to the movie, and you let us feel your emotions. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Yang.
Hi, Yang.
So I think you really show your emotion in the speech, but maybe you can speed up a little bit because sometimes you go a bit slow. Yeah, so maybe just rehearse more.
Yeah. You had that evil card in your hand. I expected you'd have a quote from a reviewer, but you didn't have a quote from the reviewer. Did you forget to do that?
I mean, I read the reviews, but it said it's a crappy movie from crappy cancer. Yeah, so I couldn't.
No, that's my point. You quote that and you say, I disagree. Show me you can surf the deep internet. That was the point of the assignment. So turn in that review, show me that you can surf the deep internet. Let me talk to you, James, about your speech. Like your beginning quote that you tied back to, the world is not a wish-granting factor. A little more stressed, and then pause and let the meaning of this quote sink in. See, you kind of just kind of mumbled along. See, so let's let things stand out. Plot summary wasn't really necessary. It could have been. This is a cancer movie about two people and they die. You know, if you really felt you needed to give that. Your thesis preview was fine. You left off the review, which is part of the assignment. I want to see you move 3 times purposefully and walk and talk at the same time in your next speech. Okay, James? Your sad was good. It reminded you of when your grandmother passed, and I felt your sadness. That was well communicated, the felt sensing. But as I've said to others, say it returned at the end of the paragraph. That's why I felt sad. But besides sad, I felt another emotion. See, have a little transition in there so we know what emotions we're dealing with more vividly. You talked about being a blissful being and being loved by your family, and that's all great. And we felt that love, I guess. It was a little vague, but it was fine. On the, you used your grandmother twice for your third emotion, restful and peaceful, and wanting to say we have to experience these things. They're part of life, so that was fine. Your summary, your conclusion, and your tie-back were fine. Your goals were to walk around, no ums, and to project your voice. How'd it go?
I tried to walk around, but I failed, and I think I reduced the ums and listening lips. And maybe I can try more projecting on my voice.
Yes, and variety.
Yeah.
Practice really overdoing it, almost like over dramatic, and then you'll bring it back down. Why am I hearing all this talking back here? Thank you. Okay, overall you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to... shut up. Okay, that'll bring us to Wang Ziyi. Isn't she already gone?
She did.
She did it. Okay, that'll bring us to Xinan Zinan Zhu. No Zinan Zhu?
I don't think so.
No Zinan Zhu. How about Yiwei? Zhang. Harper. Oh, Harper. Harper. We need a Harper. Harper Valley PTA. Is this anybody else that I missed?
Me.
Who's me?
Alex.
Okay, you'll be next, Alex. The Harper Valley PTA. Okay. Harper stands before you, managing attention, looking around the room, making sure no one's texting or talking. All computers are closed, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hey, I'm Harper.
Hi, Harper.
If you don't move, you die. This is a quote from the movie that I'm going to be talking about. It more refers to The Ring. If you don't move, you get hit and you die. But I feel like it has a lot more meaning in the rest of your life, as I'll come to explain further on. The movie that I'm going to talk about that really moved me is called Warrior. It made me feel pride, it made me feel sorrow, and it also made me feel really motivated. In a film review by the Psychological Perspectives, they said about the characters in the film that only when you go through something that is truly dark and terrible will soul be made. I really agree with this deep and meaningful quote, because I feel like everyone can relate to that. Everyone's been through a hard time in life. They've had tough times. Everyone's had something different, but it's those tough times that we go through that we really find ourselves. And when we come out of it, do we really know who we are, and our soul is more complete and made. Now, the first way that this film made me feel was pride. In the film, there is a character who joins the military. And when he comes back, someone recognizes him and tells the media, and they put it on the news, and the whole family, his family, sees what he accomplished while overseas. The reason this makes me feel pride is because my brother is in the special forces in the military as well. I remember when I was a kid watching him walk away from me and my father as a kid to join the military, and just, even though it was a sad moment, to watch him pick up his bags, have his head high and walk off to join the military made me feel really proud. And then years passed where we didn't see each other, and then he came back and he had all these medals and he had all these stories that he rarely spoke about. But through conversations with him and listening to his friends speak about him while he was overseas, I got a good accomplishment. I could really understand what he went through and some of the things that he did, which made me feel really proud about my brother serving for his country. The second way that this movie made me feel was sorrow. The reason for this is because in the movie, the brothers come from a broken family. They have an abusive parent. They have very non-existent relationships with each other and their family. And I really relate to that because I come from a very similar family background. When the brothers come back, the brothers split, and one goes off to join the military and the other one stays. The reason I related to this was because it was the same for me and my brother. He left, and I stayed. When we grew up, we were both really into sports, and my father trained my brother. He got all the attention, and being the older brother, I was always in his shadow, so that always kind of was a hard thing to break out of. He'd done everything first, because he was older. So growing up through sports, he got special training, he got more attention from my father, he got coaches, he got driven around the state. So when he left, one of the characters says in the movie, the reason I stayed was I thought I would get you to myself, to his father. I felt the same way because it was the same thing for me. When my brother left, I was the only one left that my father could focus the attention on. So I really connected with this character and could feel his pain and sorrow. Lastly, the third thing that made me feel was motivated in this movie. The reason for that is the character leaves his family and home to go and train for this fight to get this prize money which will help his family pay his mortgage and so on. I felt very motivated because, again, very similarly, I left my family, moved to another country where they didn't speak English. I had no friends, I had no family. I had to teach myself a brand new language from scratch. I then got myself into college. I worked through college, paid my way through that, and then I got myself to here, UCLA, one of the top schools in the world. All from a kid who never went to high school. So I was very motivated that he was doing that and I could do this and get to the end goal in the end. So I've showed you 3 ways that this movie has moved me. It made me feel pride, it made me feel sorrow, and it made me feel motivated. There should be no doubt in this room that this film has really moved me. And just like the quote says, if you don't move, you die. This really relates to real life as well, because if you have a goal and you're going to it, you have to keep moving for it. If a roadblock comes up in your way, you have to move and go around it. If you stop, you die. Your dream, your goal, it dies. So if you don't move, you die. Thank you.
451, what'd you like?
Hi, I'm Fan.
Hi, Fan.
Okay, I really like your speech and you project yourself very well, and I like your body language. It's very natural, and your body language help you tell your story well.
Improvement.
Hi, I'm Tony.
Hi, Tully.
I think you went a little too fast with some words. Maybe just
Yeah, you went quite a bit over, and so you needed an edit, and you needed to time yourself. And where you really screwed up was how much time you spent in the top end setting the speech up. You needed to get through that and make that briefer, and then your setup on your when you got to your first reason, you could have condensed that to my brother's in special forces, and we were proud of him. He walked away, but I was proud that he did this, and focus more on your part of your feelings of being proud of him, and not so much on him and that sort of thing. On the second one, sorrow, yeah, I thought this was your best emotion of talking about how you were neglected as a boy by your father, who drove your brother around the state and got him special coaches and all this stuff. And what you didn't tell us is if it changed. You don't have to tell us now if it changed after he left, but that was your most revealing emotional story, and I could really feel your pain on that one, so that was good. And on this feeling of motivated, you really came through and talked about, working 2 jobs and getting into UCLA without a high school diploma. Congratulations. And so those emotions were communicated well, just a little wordy, see? So you need to watch that. Your summary, your conclusion, and tieback were all good. You kept going on with your ending. You could have just ended it with, just one time of just enough about, if you don't move just one time, it's going to stop. You want to move naturally, slow my speech down, and make longer eye contact. How'd it go?
Slowed it down. It was too long.
Yeah.
Moved around a bit, so I thought that was good.
Yeah. And what about longer eye contact? Do you feel you did that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. You did a nice job. You just went over time. So work on that, but no notes. That was good. Thank you. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Okay, this is
It's a pile of papers. Let me get out the green meaning, whatever the heck it is. Okay. Oh, more. Okay,
the
okay.
worksheet and look for the self-evaluation.
Great. Yeah. Is this the last film speech? Great. Alexandria stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex.
So, no one had ever asked what it feels like to be me. This quote was said by one of the main characters in the film I'll be telling you about, called The Help. So, this movie made me sad, it made me angry, and it made me laugh. Roger Ebert said, I was drawn into the characters and moved, even though all the while I was aware it was a feel-good fable, a story that deals with pain but doesn't care to be that painful. I agree with this review because there were a lot of racial injustices that was going on in the movie, but the comedy kind of made it a little bit lighthearted and you were able to laugh through it. So the incident that made me feel sad in the movie was when Aibileen, one of the maids, was talking about how her boss didn't particularly care for her daughter, so she had to teach the girl everything she knows. And she would only really pick the daughter up like maybe once a day, just didn't care. So it made me sad because it reminded me of when I was younger. My mom was always busy, so she was never really around, and I didn't really think she cared about me, so my dad had to raise me. So that's how I felt. This movie also made me angry was because one of the women in the movie, Hilly, she invited everybody over to her house, and she was saying how everyone should build a bathroom outside for the colored people because she didn't want them using her bathroom. She went on to say like a lot of racist comments while she was looking the maids in the eye, and I just thought it was really disrespectful. The reason why this made me angry was because it reminded me of a time when I was at school. I go to an all-black boarding school, and the people in the community, they don't like us, and they don't want us to be there. So one day I was walking, and I was trying to go back to the dorm, and I saw a white man in this red truck, and I had noticed him before. So while I was trying to cross the road, he tried to run me over, and so he put his middle finger up at me, so I did the same to him, and then, then he called me the N-word, and it just made me really angry because I just don't like or get why you just don't like somebody because they're different from you. And this also made me laugh because one of the maids, she went to her boss's house to give a peace offering after she was fired because she pretended to use the bathroom just to piss her boss off about what she wanted to do. So she brought one of her famous chocolate pies, and so the mom wanted a slice of the pie. So she told the mom that she couldn't have any because Hilly needed to have all of the pie because it was a special treat for her. So Hilly then yelled at the maid, and then that's when it prompted her to tell her boss what was in the pie, which was her fecal matter, aka poop. So Hilly was really mad about that, and it reminded me of a time when my sister was being bullied by this girl at school, and the girl kept taking her sandwiches, so my dad decided that we should set her up. So my dad told my sister to bring extra sandwiches to the girl and just offer it to her to, you know, kind of be nice and just, it'll all work out. So one day my dad melted laxatives and put it inside of the sandwich. And so my sister gave it to the girl, and long story short, the girl was on the toilet for the rest of the day. And she never bothered my sister again. So in conclusion, I've shown you 3 ways that this film moved me. It made me sad, it made me angry, and it made me laugh. There should be no doubt in this room that The Help moved me, and I think that we should start to try to ask people what it's like in their life, and that we should just try to be more willing to see other people as who they are. That's all.
Okay, thank you. 356. Would you like? Hello.
Hi, I'm Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
I thought that you spoke really well. You're really fluent, and I really got your emotions across.
Improvement?
Hey, I'm Harper. Again.
Hi, Harper.
That was a good speech. Not much criticizing, it was cards.
Yeah, we should talk about that. What do we have to do to have you not use a card and use that great memory God gave you?
Maybe I should just, you know, be more sure of myself so that I don't need to use it.
Yeah, practice more. And practice many times, 6 times, and then give the card to the person you're practicing with and have them do it. If you can speak the speech out, this is what I tell people for memory. If you speak the speech out, and first I'll have an introduction, then I'll have a thesis, then I'll have a preview, then I'll have the main body, then I'll have a summary, conclusion, and tie back, and you know what's in each of those sections. And you speak it out, then you know where you are. You have rings to put different speeches on and say. So memorize the 7 parts and you have it down. Well, you chose a film that was good film, The Help. Thank God it took place in a different era than we live in today. You told us it made you sad, it made you angry, and it made you laugh. So you had a nice thesis preview on that. Ebert, of course, wasn't as impressed. He called it a feel-good fable. Yeah. So, the first way the film moved me was it made you sad. And here I think I wish you would have elaborated on the dimension of how sad you felt that your mother really was not there and not present and abandoned you, and you really wanted to have a mother in your life, and you were raised by your father, and that made you sad. See, and do more elaboration and felt sensing on that and that emotion. On your second way, the film moved you. The outdoor bathroom, yeah, wasn't that a dilly? Yeah, and here a man tried to run you down and called you the N-word, and then he sped off. Yeah, I think that was a very dramatic situation. I wish you would have then told us more of just how angry you felt and that situation and so forth while it was happening, see, so that we got the gist of it. And then your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine, with the exception of you started with, no one has ever asked what it feels like to be me. I would have liked to have heard that as a tie back in the ending. Okay, no one feels what it feels like to be me. You have your sources here, your goals somewhere here. There, your goals. There they are. Walk more. Ooh. Move your hands and don't rush. How'd it go?
I walked more than I did the first time.
Right.
And I don't know. I think I could have slowed down a little bit more.
Right, you had time.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you walk real distinctly 2 steps that way, 4 or 5 steps that way, and then back to center. You just did a kind of few little steps, and walk more distinctly. It will relax you and be more effective. Overall, you did a good job. Just lose that note card. Thank you. Any more film speeches? You ready?
I'm not ready yet. If you don't mind, may I do it on next lesson?
Next lesson. Certainly. Just, make sure we don't run out of time. Because remember, you have 3 speeches left. You better pick up the pace. You have 3 speeches left. Okay, great. All right. So, let me change the battery and we'll start on the PC speeches now. Any more film speeches? Except our Turkish representative. Okay, no. Could you have me the green meanie, please? Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.